My daughter Lily has always been a magnet for the unusual. Even as a little girl, she seemed to draw people and situations that felt just slightly off, like the world tilted a bit when she was around. I used to think it was just her big, curious personality, the way she'd talk to anyone and everyone with that bright, fearless smile. But over the years, I started to wonder if it was something else entirely. There's one story, though, that still sits heavy in my chest, one I can't quite let go of. We just moved to a small town when Lily was 7, a fresh start after my divorce. It was a quiet place, all tree-lined streets and friendly neighbors, the kind of spot where you'd expect kids to run wild and safe. Lily settled into her new school quickly, making friends faster than I could keep up with. She'd come home chattering about this kid or that one, her backpack spilling with art projects and notes from classmates. I was relieved she was happy, and that was enough for me. About a month in, though, she started talking about a girl named Clara. "Clara's my best friend now," she'd say, her eyes lighting up. "She's funny, Mom, and she knows all the best games." I'd nod along, figuring Clara was just another kid from her class. Lily's teacher had mentioned she was getting along with everyone, so I didn't think much of it. But then I noticed something odd. Clara never came up when I met the other parents, and Lily never asked to have her over. I brushed it off. Maybe Clara was shy, or her family was busy. One afternoon, I got a call from the school. The secretary's voice was clipped, asking me to come in right away. Something had happened with Lily. My stomach dropped as I grabbed my keys and raced over, imagining scraped knees or a playground fight. When I got there, Lily was sitting in the principal's office, her head down, hands twisting in her lap. She wouldn't look at me, which wasn't like her at all. She's usually so open, even when she's in trouble. The principal, a stern woman with graying hair, motioned for me to sit. "There was an incident at lunch," she said, her tone measured. "Lily and another student got into a disagreement. It escalated, and Lily pushed her. The other girl's fine, just shaken up, but we need to address this." I blinked, stunned. Lily wasn't a pusher. She'd cry before she'd hit anyone. I glanced at her, but she still wouldn't meet my eyes. "What happened?" I asked, my voice sharper than I meant it to be. The principal sighed. "The other girl, Hannah," said Lily, "got upset when she tried to join a game they were playing. Lily told her it was just for her and Clara, and when Hannah insisted, Lily shoved her away." I frowned. "Clara? Her friend Clara?" The principal paused, then nodded slowly. "That's what Lily said. But here's the thing, there's no Clara in her class. No Clara in the whole school, as far as we know." A chill prickled down my spine. I turned to Lily. "Honey, who's Clara?" She finally looked up, her face pale, her brown eyes wide and glassy. "She's my friend," she whispered. "She's always there at recess. She told me not to let Hannah play with us." My mouth went dry. I pressed her gently, asking what Clara looked like, where she came from. But Lily just shrugged. "She's got long hair and a blue dress. She's just Clara." The principal suggested it might be an imaginary friend, common enough at her age, maybe a reaction to the move. She wasn't too worried kids fight. It happens, but she wanted me to keep an eye on Lily. I nodded, numb, and took her home. In the car, she stayed quiet, staring out the window. I tried asking more about Clara, but she clammed up, like she was protecting a secret. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept picturing Lily out on the playground, talking to someone who wasn't there, guarding a game for a friend no one else could see. I told myself it was nothing, kids make up stories all the time. But the next morning, Lily came downstairs beaming. "Clara says she's sorry about yesterday," she announced, like it was the most normal thing in the world. "She didn't mean to get me in trouble." I froze, cereal box in hand. "When did she say that?" Lily grinned. "Last night. She came to my room." My heart thudded. "She came to your room?" Lily nodded, oblivious to the panic creeping into my voice. Yeah. She stood by my bed and talked to me. She said Hannah's annoying anyway. I set the box down, hands shaking. Lily, was this a dream? She shook her head firmly. No, Mom, I was awake. I saw her. I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to laugh it off kids and their imaginations, but the way she said it, so matter of fact, made my skin crawl. I checked her room later, half expecting, I don't know, muddy footprints or something ridiculous, but it was just her messy bed, her stuffed animals, the usual chaos of a 7-year-old. Still, I started locking her window at night, just in case. Things got weirder from there. Lily kept mentioning Clara little comments that slipped into conversations like they were normal. Clara says the woods behind school are fun. Clara doesn't like my teacher. Clara told me a secret, but I can't tell you. I tried talking to her teacher again, asking if Lily ever played alone at recess. But she said, no, Lily was always with the group, laughing and running around. It didn't add up. Then one Saturday, I took Lily to the park. It was a crisp, fall day, leaves crunching underfoot, other kids shrieking on the swings. Lily darted off to the slide, and I sat on a bench, keeping an eye on her. She was climbing the ladder when I saw her stop, tilt her head like she was listening, then nod and climb back down. She ran over to a patch of trees at the edge of the park, away from the other kids. I stood up, calling her name, but she didn't turn around. By the time I caught up, she was standing there, staring into the shadows. Lily, what are you doing? I asked, sharper than I meant to. She looked up at me, her face calm. Clara wanted to show me something. I glanced at the trees, nothing but branches and fading light. There's no one here, sweetie. She frowned, like I'd said something stupid. She's right there, she said, pointing. She's waving at you. I looked again, my pulse hammering. Nothing. Just empty air. That night, I heard her laughing in her room, soft giggles, like she was talking to someone. I crept down the hall and peeked through the crack in her door. She was sitting on her bed, facing the corner, chatting away. Clara, that's so funny, she said, then paused, nodding like she'd gotten an answer. My stomach twisted. I pushed the door open. Who are you talking to? She jumped, then smiled. Clara. She's telling me stories. I scanned the room, empty, of course. Lily, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. There's no one here. She rolled her eyes. You just can't see her, Mom. I started digging after that. I asked around town, casually mentioning Clara to neighbors, the librarian, anyone who'd listen. No one knew a girl like that. No kids missing. No old stories about a Clara in a blue dress. I even checked the school records, but the principal was right. No Clara enrolled. Not now. Not ever. I was grasping at straws, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. A week later, Lily came home from school upset. Clara's mad at me, she said, kicking off her shoes. She didn't talk to me all day. I should have been relieved maybe this imaginary friend was fading, but the look on her face stopped me. She was scared. Why's she mad? I asked. Lily bit her lip. I told her I didn't want to play her games anymore. She said I have to, or she'll get mad at you too. My throat tightened. Me. Lily nodded. She said you're nosy. She doesn't like you asking about her. I laughed, but it came out hollow. She's just pretend, honey. She can't really be mad. Lily shook her head, tears welling up. She's not pretend, Mom. She's real. And she's mean when she's mad. That night, I woke to a crash downstairs. I bolted out of bed, heart racing, and grabbed the baseball bat from my closet. Lily was still asleep when I checked on her, curled up under her blanket. I crept downstairs, the house dark and silent, except for my own breathing. In the kitchen, a glass was shattered on the floor, clean, jagged pieces glinting in the moonlight. I hadn't left it out, and Lily couldn't have gotten past me without waking me. I swept it up, telling myself it was nothing, just a fluke. but my hands wouldn't stop trembling. The next morning, Lily looked at the spot where the glass had been and said, "Clara did that. She told me she would." I couldn't take it anymore. I called a child psychologist, hoping for answers stress from the move, maybe, or some buried anxiety. The doctor was kind, practical. She met with Lily, who chattered about Clara like she was real, then told me it was a coping mechanism. Nothing to worry about unless it got worse. She'll grow out of it, she said. I wanted to believe her, but the broken glass replayed in my mind. Things escalated fast after that. Lily started waking up crying, saying Clara wouldn't leave her alone. She'd find scratches on her arms faint, red lines she swore she didn't make. I'd hear footsteps at night, soft thuds moving through the house. But when I checked, no one was there. One evening, I caught Lily whispering in her room again. I eased the door open and heard her say, "Clara, stop it. I don't want to." She was staring at the window, wide-eyed, her hands clenched in her lap. The room felt cold, too cold for October. "Lily?" I said. She whipped around, then pointed at the window. "She's out there." I looked nothing but the dark yard, the trees swaying in the wind. "There's no one, sweetie," I said, but my voice shook. She grabbed my arm. "She's mad, Mom. She's really mad." That night, I stayed in her room, sleeping on the floor by her bed. Around 3 a.m., I woke to a tapping sound light, insistent, coming from the window. I sat up, staring at the glass. The tapping stopped, but I swear I saw something move outside a flicker, too fast to catch. The next day, I decided we were done. I packed our bags, told Lily we were visiting her grandma for a while, and drove us out of that town. She didn't argue, just sat quietly, clutching her stuffed rabbit. As we pulled away, she said, "Clara's not coming with us, is she?" I forced a smile. "No, honey. She's staying here." Lily nodded, but her eyes stayed on the rearview mirror the whole way. We've been at my mom's for months now, and Lily hasn't mentioned Clara since. She's back to her old self, laughing, playing. No more night terrors or scratches. I'd think it was over, except for one thing. Last week, I was unpacking a box from the old house stuff I'd shoved in during the rush to leave. At the bottom, under some clothes, was a drawing I'd never seen before. It was Lily's style, all crayons and shaky lines. Two girls holding hands, one with long hair and a blue dress. Underneath, in her messy scrawl, it said, "Me and Clara forever." I burned it in the backyard that night, watching the flames curl the paper to ash. Lily didn't ask about it, and I didn't tell her. But sometimes when the house is quiet, I catch myself listening for footsteps, waiting for a tap on the window. I tell myself it's over, that we left Clara behind. But deep down, I'm not sure I believe it.